I hope you're enjoying yourself, because this is a time of celebration. We've been down to the church, we've seen Stes and Joe, we've heard from Stes and Joe, and they're married. And now we've come to celebration. This, I think we can say honestly, is a day the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice and be glad, and we'll praise him for this great day. I was wondering about speeches from father of the bride, so-called. And I said, what's all this going to contain? The last time I made a speech in this room was my own wedding. But I can't use that one again, although Ken Gibson was hoping I would. But I looked up the internet, which I don't often do because I don't like what they say about things. But this is a very exciting and perhaps rather disconcerting news I got about this speech. I quote, "Traditionally at the reception, the father of the bride is the first one to make a speech." That's right, to the wedding guests. "The father of the bride's speech is usually seen as a bit of a warm-up act." I hope you're warming up. "And something to be endured rather than enjoyed." Well, I hope you're enduring quite well there now. We're coming near the end, all right, anyway. Over a good few years, I won't tell you how many, but you'll be able to work it out from the date, we've watched Joe growing up since the 5th of May 1989. And more recently, we got to know Stes. We haven't watched him growing up. But you know, one thing Sharon and I know about Joe is this. Joe is a very determined person. And if Joe wants to get something, she gets it. And some time ago, it became very obvious that Joe wanted to get Stes. And he's locked in now. At the beginning, as Joe and Stes began to get to know each other really well, and it seemed that they were heading towards maybe an engagement, there was a problem. A large problem on the horizon. But it was no problem to Joe because she's a determined person, she'd sort it out. But Stes was very interested and very determined that he was going to become a commercial airline pilot, and the training course that he was going to use was based in Christchurch, New Zealand. If you look at the globe and you drive a hole right through from Dublin, you come out of New Zealand. He couldn't be going further away. And it didn't seem to fit in with a courting couple who wanted to get married soon. But it did, because Joe didn't try to put him off. She encouraged him to do it. And I think those months showed the true nature of their love for each other. I lived in a house, an apartment, with Joe next door in the room, and I could hear some things through the wall. And the round of Skyping that went on over those 18 months, which went on pretty well every day, I think. There was a real test, though, of their commitment to each other, and we see today the result of that. An interesting little incident, I didn't witness it, but I heard about it, which showed this interesting commitment. Stes had his ticket to get to Christchurch, and in January 2016, he was all set with the bags to set off. And out to the airport went Stes with his family and friends and Joe. And in due course, everybody said, bye-bye, bye-bye, we'll see you in a year and a half. And Stes put out his ticket and disappeared through the gates and headed for security. And lo and behold, Joe put out her ticket and went through also into security. And the pair of them disappeared into security. Now, Stes had a ticket from Dublin, Ireland to Christchurch, New Zealand. Joe had a ticket from Dublin, Ireland to Donegal, Ireland. The furthest she got was the gate where Stes took off from, and then she came back out again. But the determination to have the last say in the goodbyes came out that day. Well, we go forward to the 10th of September last year. And at this stage, many of us are wondering, not was it going to happen, but when was it going to happen? And Stes was back, and Joe and Stes had been given the use of a cottage in Kerry for a few days to enjoy the fact that he was home. I think the ideas of rings were ringing in the ears of Joe and in our minds too, but there were no rings appearing, and they had their few days and they were due to come home on this particular day. And I was having a nice rest on Sunday morning, the 10th of September, when my phone vibrated and a message came in. A message, I think I could just about make it out in the dark. Steve was coming on, said he was wondering would it be convenient to have a telephone conversation at about 9 o'clock. So I answered and said, yes. I don't know whether I knew what I was saying, but whatever. And sharp at about 9:01, the phone rang. Steve came on. And it appeared that he had some idea that he would like to marry Joe. Well, of course, I assured that wasn't on at all. But he wasn't taking no for an answer, though. But seriously, no, I told Steve the truth, and I think he probably remembers. I said, look, we've been hoping and praying for this, and yes, we're delighted. So he said goodbye. Later on in the day, we got a telephone call. I don't know how it was managed, but 4 of us were able to hear. And the words came from Joe and Steve, we're engaged. By the way, we're not coming home today. And so we're at this occasion now, this happy occasion. And I'm not going to go on and on and on at all. I just want to say, Steve, I hope it's obvious, you're welcome in the family. We regard you as part of the family. We've grown to know and love you. And we've had a great link up now with your whole family, your mum and dad and your 2 brothers and your sister. And this is a happy day for us, the 2 families coming together. I have been instructed that my job is to give some thanks. And it's not my job to thank everybody and anybody. I want to say thank you. I don't know if there's anybody here from the music group from church, but whether they're here or not, we say thank you to them for the effort, not just this morning, but all the practicing and preparation. Thank you very much. And then Jeff, Master of Ceremonies, and who conducted the service and the ceremony, we're really grateful to Jeff. And finally, but certainly not least, Mark, who is a genuine servant of the Lord, and we're really grateful for his message. And also, everybody in the NAS for stepping aside and allowing the premises to be turned upside down, and for us to have a great day today. It's going to be interesting next Sunday morning. The preacher may find himself speaking from behind a bunch of flowers or something, I don't know. And so I'd ask you to raise your glass in a toast to the bride and groom. Bride and groom. Bride and groom.
Thank you very much. And now we're going to hear from our incredibly beautiful bride, Joe.
I'm just going to read mine, if that's okay. So I'd just like to start by saying a huge thank you to you all for being here on this special day. It means the absolute world to Steve and I to be surrounded by our friends and family. And a special thank you to those who have travelled from abroad, especially those from America and New Zealand. We've genuinely been so overwhelmed by all of your support and kindness and the generosity that has been shown to us throughout the engagement. We are so blessed to have you all in our lives, and it's such an honour for us to have you here. And we really hope you've enjoyed the day so far and that you'll continue to enjoy the celebration. I don't plan to speak for long at all, but I just felt I'd like to say a few short words. I'd really like to thank my mum and dad, who've completely poured their heart and soul into making this day possible. I love you both so much, and I want to thank you for everything you've done for me for this wedding, but more importantly, everything that you've done for me throughout my whole life. And to my new parents-in-law, thank you so much for welcoming me into your family with such open arms. I'm so blessed to now be a part of 2 wonderful families who I know will always be there for us. I'd like to say a massive thank you to my incredible bridesmaids. I really couldn't have asked for a better team. All 3 of you have been so selfless, encouraging, enthusiastic, loving, and have put me first every step of the way. You've been such a constant support for me, and I cannot thank you enough for everything. And it was such an honour for me to have you all right there beside me as Steve and I made our vows to one another. And I'd like to thank all my friends in general who are here for all the support and love you've all shown me during this year and throughout my life. I'm not finished yet. We haven't got to Steve yet. It's hard to know where to start, Steve. We've been through a lot during our 5 years together. Many amazing times and some tough times. During our 2 years of long distance, I used to spend a lot of time dreaming of this very day when we'd finally be married and be able to start our lives together. Knowing that one day we'd be together forever was what kept me going during all those difficult months we spent apart. And I'm so glad that we're finally here. Steve, I know I'm beyond blessed to be able to share my life with you. You are my safe place, and there's nothing I wouldn't trust with you. You always see the best in me, even in the times when I really don't deserve it. You lift my spirits when I'm feeling lost or alone, and I know that you do anything in your power to make me happy. I love how I can be completely myself around you, and that we don't take ourselves too seriously. I love how much you love God, and how we can share our faith in Him together. I love how we can laugh through life together, even during the hard moments, and I hope the laughter that we share will last forever. This year has had a few difficult times for us both, but it's also helped me see even more the absolutely incredible man that you are. You've been an absolute rock for me, and I know I can always rely on you. Thank you for picking me up when I've reached the end of what I can handle. Thank you for always taking the pressures and for reassuring me that the most important part about today is that we've got married. And thank you so much for asking me to be your wife. You make me happier than I ever thought I could ever be, and I can't wait to start this epic adventure of marriage with you. So if you'd all like to raise your glass and toast to this amazing man who I'm blessed to now call my husband.
You guys, so cute. Now, before we eat, we'll have one more speech, and it is from the groom. Steve, round of applause, please.
Thank you. I have to follow that. Thanks, Joe. No, seriously, thank you, though. So this is mad, right? Speaking at my wedding. What? This is kind of, I mean, people have been coming up to Joe and I today, and you know, you've all been so nice, but I keep saying to you, like, this is so surreal. Like, it's amazing that we got married. The day's flying by. I'm trying to take like moments to just like take it all in, but yeah, we're just so grateful you guys are here. I know Joe and I were saying in the car on the way here that when we get married again to each other, yeah, just gotta clarify that. You know, we'll get married again and have another giant party with all the people we love and care about. I mean, this is one of the coolest things about today, other than get married. It's been fantastic, and yeah, from the bottom of our hearts, we're just so happy you all made it. I mean, you're all here because you mean a huge deal to Joe and I. Yeah, you've all impacted our lives in incredible ways, and we're just so grateful that you're here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to celebrating with you all later on as well. I mean, we have so many people to thank. As Joe said, I just want to say a special thank you to those who traveled so far to come out here today. I mean, all my friends and family from New Zealand came over. It's so funny hearing their accents. It reminds me that, like, oh yeah, I'm from New Zealand. I forgot. Yeah, I'm kind of like a traitor, but yeah, no, thank you. It just means so much, you guys, that you made it over. Did you enjoy the church this morning? Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, you can't really say no, can you? It'd be bad form at this stage. But yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who works so hard on transforming that giant box of a room into such a beautiful venue. Alison, Michelle, Lucy, my mom, Sharon, thank you so much just for all your hard work and decorating in the church. It was so cool. We're so grateful for that. And Mom, thank you so much for providing all the catering as well. Little tiny bits of food. So good. And yeah, thank you for everything, everyone who's just contributed so much as well. Just Ken last minute, thank you for providing the really cool car. That was a surprise. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun trying to find first and second, though. But yeah, it's so much fun. Thank you for providing that. Yeah, I played it off well as we were driving here. More thank yous. My groomsmen, lads, you guys have been incredible. Thank you just for your constant encouragement in my life. Thank you for pushing me to go after my dreams of what I want to do with my life, for constantly kind of reminding me that I can do these things. Thank you for constantly bringing the crack and the fun. You guys have affected my life in just an incredible way. I'm so grateful. You guys are getting uncomfortable, aren't you? Yeah, you have to do it. Yeah, it's fine. And Paul's like, keep talking. But anyway, but thank you so much. I couldn't have asked for just better guys to have beside me today. So thank you. They deserve a round of applause, definitely. Another big thank you. I just want to say thank you to Joe's family for letting me marry Joe. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, you can't really, again, you couldn't have said no, I'm joking. But no, thank you for being okay with it. Thank you for just being so open, for welcoming me into your family. Thank you for all the dinners, just all the fun. Thank you for, especially when I was in New Zealand, man, that was so difficult. You guys would constantly send me messages and texts encouraging me. Just so grateful for that. Thank you for also teaching me how to celebrate. The Chipperfields celebrate more than any family on the face of the earth. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure we didn't we open a bottle of bubbly when I got root canal, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure something like that. My tooth was finally fixed after a couple years, and you guys are like, yes, bring it on. So yeah, thank you so much just for being so amazing, for welcoming me in. And I love the fact that you guys welcome me into your family. I definitely see myself as part of you guys now, so thank you so much. I also want to say thank you to my parents, these incredible people over here. Thank you, for just being so amazing. Thank you for putting up with the madness of all us kids. Thank you for constantly putting us first, for sacrificing so much, just so we could have such a great life. Thank you for bringing us to Ireland. I really appreciate that. I got to meet Joe here. But also, there was a stage where it looked like that there could have been a chance that we'd go home. We were just kids. And you guys actually asked us as kids whether we'd like to go back to New Zealand or stay here. Thank you for taking our opinion so seriously. I just really appreciate the lives that you've given us. Thank you just for your constant encouragement, for constantly saying that, pushing us, basically saying that we can do anything we want as long as we work for it. Thank you again, for the constant good times and the crack at home. And just something from your guys' marriage that I'm definitely, I've learned from is you guys communicate, you talk. It's amazing. And I know it's such a, I shouldn't have to say that, but in so many relationships I've seen people don't talk, but you guys always talk things through and try to work it out. And that's something that I'm going to take for myself and Joe. And I know me and my siblings growing up knew that we could come to you guys with anything, and you guys would be there with listening ear. So thank you so much. I think you should give them a round of applause as well. Amazing. I should probably talk about Joe. That's all right. Joe, thank you for marrying me. I'm joking. Okay, no, I'm going to say more. No, but I really appreciate it. I can't believe, I'm just very thankful. Kind of feel like it's like, did this actually happen? It's crazy. Thank you. But I'm just so happy. I'm just so grateful. I do count myself as lucky. I'm aware I'm punching above my weight. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. But Joe, you're beautiful inside out. You care deeply for your friends. You're supportive. You're feisty. You're intelligent. You're godly. You're just a stunning person, and you're so much fun. I remember, I think it was one of our first dates. I really learned how much fun Joe was. I think I wanted to get the kiss, you know? So I was like, okay, we're gonna make it happen. So we went out and we got chicken, and we had some chicken. It's irrelevant to what's happening. But anyway, it was nice. It's shut down now. It was very good chicken, very good. So anyway, we went from there, and we had a nice drink. That was all good. And then I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to bring her to Kleiny Hill. I had a Chinese lantern stuck in the back of the car. So I was like, this is going to be so romantic. So anyways, dark night. It was around winter as well. And I decided we're going to climb Kleiny Hill together and overlook all of Dublin. I was like, this is going to happen, you know. So we're climbing up through Kleiny Hill, pitch black. Her arm was around mine. I'm like, this is class. And going up. We get to the top, but I noticed as we were climbing Kleiny Hill, the wind was kind of picking up and a bit of rain was kicking in. I was like, okay, so my time is shrinking, but it's still going to happen. So anyway, we're going up, made it all the way to the top, and we got up there, and it was beautiful. I was like, this is fantastic. But I noticed that there was a wind blowing over the city towards us. So I was like, Joe, let's go light this Chinese lantern off, and then I'll make my move. But so we're like, okay, so got the Chinese lantern. We walked behind the back. It's called the obelisk, isn't it? Yeah, behind the obelisk. And I was like, all right, Joe, let's do this. So unwrapped the, sorry, that sounds weird. Anyway, so unwrapped the Chinese lantern and, you know, ended up in this case. So we started lighting the thing, and it was freezing. Like, the lighter wouldn't even light. And I was like, ah, come on, I had this planned. And eventually we got the thing lit. I turned it around, and we're both holding like the corners of it, and we're waiting for the hot air to fill this whole balloon. And it was like this beautiful moment. Do you remember it? Like, we're basically Joe's face. Well, actually, she said no. Her face was like lit up just by this beautiful candlelight. And I'm like, this is the moment. And we slowly took our hands away from the Chinese lantern, and the thing was just hovering there. And I was like, this is amazing. And next thing I was like, all right, I'm going to go for it. But then it was like the wind was like, nah. It came over and grabbed the Chinese lantern and whipped it away from us. But at the same time as whipping it away from us, it ripped the flame out of the bottom of the lantern and onto the ground. And I was like, oh no. So anyway, I noticed the ground was catching fire. So I was like, oh no. So I ran out and started like stamping out the flame. But while that was going, the rest of the Chinese lantern was hitting me in the face. And it was whipping back around like a tornado and hitting me again. I was like, oh, this is awful. But I turned around, and Joe was cracking up, laughing. Absolutely cracking up, laughing. And I was thinking, like, I am so happy she has a sense of humor, because I have blown it tonight. But it was so much fun. And we ended up kissing anyway, which was fantastic. Yeah. Yes. But Joe, you were just amazing, beautiful inside out, and I'm just so honored to be your husband. So I'd like you all to raise your glasses to Joe, my wife. Cheers. There you go, Marco.
Let's give Steve a round of applause. There you go. That was a good story. Okay, nice. So we are ready to eat now, but we are going to have grace said for us by Ian Childs. Yeah, yeah. There's only so far I can go. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks.
What a wonderful day. Let's just bow our hearts and just commit ourselves to the Lord and give him our thanks. Father, we come with hearts full of praise and thanksgiving today. We come in a spirit of celebration. And Father, we just want to say thank you for this wonderful day. For Steve and for Joe, we love them, Lord, and we just want you to bless them. We want you to take care of them and guide them in their lives together. And Father, as we sit down now to enjoy this celebratory meal together, we want to say thank you for your goodness to us, for the provision of good food, for good health, for friendship, for family. We say thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Well, the mother of the groom had her DNA done a while ago and discovered she is part Maori. So, by extension, Stephen is as well. So on that basis, I will start with a mihi a koa. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Ki te hanga ora, tēnā koutou katoa, which is a greeting. Thank you. Yes. I was going to get an Irish opening, but I couldn't think of an Irish speaker I could trust. Anyway, so we're seeing here the merging of two great rugby nations, the number one and number two in the world. The way round they are varies on a weekly basis. So I too Googled what I was supposed to talk about on this occasion. Yes, Google's a wonderful resource. And the old adage goes that the groom at the wedding is like the corpse at a funeral. He's essential to proceedings, but not expected to do very much. As the father of the groom, I feel a bit the same, but without the essential to proceedings bit. So I thought I'd give you a bit of Stephen's history. He's our number one son, sequentially. And in the old days, people would borrow him as an example to their own kids. So we must have done something right, at least with him. And so he's a great kid. He didn't embarrass us very often, except once. I've been waiting for years to tell this story. We were in Italy, yes, and we were visiting all the sites, and we were with a group of Germans, and the guide noticed that the German kids were all standing quietly with their parents waiting for the bus, and our kids were running around like mad things. No stereotypes here at all. And the guide commented, he said, the German kids are much better behaved than the New Zealand kids. And darling number one son, at the top of his voice, yelled, "That's because they're all Nazis!" Oh, dear. So, yeah, it was an extremely quiet bus trip back. Anyway, but also many moons ago, Stephen had a school project to do, and I had just bought myself a book which I quite liked, and it was a book on the Douglas DC-3, and I gave it to Stephen and said, you could do your school project on that. And I think it's fair to say that particular book sparked Stephen's interest in aviation. So I happen to have it here tonight, so Stephen, put that on your bookshelf there. Yep. That can start his library. There we are. And the other thing that I'm supposed to do as father of the groom, I'm told, is to give some advice to the couple on the forthcoming marriage. Now, this presupposes expertise. However, but I have, over the years, observed both our marriage and many others, and have come to certain conclusions. Where do I start? Now, men and women, believe it or not, are different. Okay, so they come into marriages with different rules, because as you go through life, you evolve different ways of doing things, and I've observed that these rules are almost never the same. So the married couple generally have to adapt to each other's rules, or more accurately, he has to learn her rules. But at the end of the day, there is more than one way to stack a dishwasher. There we are. But also, there are different roles that men and women have, like the wife worries about the minor things, such as where you're going to live, what you're going to eat, where the kids go to school, things like that. Where the man will worry about the important stuff, like will there be a hard Brexit? Will Donald Trump get a second term? You know, the big stuff. So, but in terms of men and women being different, women have a different approach to problems. So if the wife approaches the husband with an issue, now men are solution orientated. So we'll say, right, well, what you need to do is this, this, and this, and this. Where in fact, the wife wasn't looking for a solution, she was looking for sympathy. So the best advice I have seen from that basically was a guy called Ben Shapiro. He always answers, is this a sympathy or a solution conversation? Then gets it out of the way straight away. Okay. Now there are certain key phrases that the one sometimes hears in marriage. There is the one, do what you want. Now this is not permission. This is more of a challenge with an underlying threat. And the other one is fine. It never is. Okay. We're nearly there. So, also there's various choices that will be made in the marriage, like the wife will occasionally consult the husband about colours of curtains, colours of paint, colours of carpet, styles of things. This gives the impression to the husband that he actually has input to the decision, where in fact it's really out of curiosity to see, had he been sent to do it himself, would he have got it right? That's it. But anyway, it's my pleasure also to welcome Jo to the family, and I mean, I knew she was going to look wonderful, that was a given, but she does. Yes, I would describe Jo as almost perfect, almost, in that she's allergic to cats. And we had 3 of them. And fortunately, it never quite came to the point where we had to choose between Jo and the cats. Anyway, there we are. But we've also thoroughly enjoyed getting to know Jo's family, and Stuart, Sharon, and Mel, Damien, see if I get all these right, Jessica, Leo, and the other ones I know is Trevor and Julia, but I'm getting to know all the others as well, slowly. But it'll be my pleasure in the future to do that. So what I'd like to do, therefore, is to propose a toast to the family that's kindly supplied us with my new daughter-in-law. We figured there was room for another Joanna in the family. So if you charge your glasses, I'd like to propose a toast to the Chipperfields. The Chipperfields. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you. Okay, and next we're going to hear from one of Jo's bridesmaids, Claire.
Super. Hello, everybody. It's great. Colin, you're much funnier than I thought you were going to be, so... I'm joking. It's time to talk about Jo. You can't see me, I'll stand here. It's so good to finally be here. I didn't think we'd get to this point, especially because I got my invite 6 months ago, so it's been a long wait. But have we had a good day? Yeah. So have I. So Jo. Jo is a bit like an onion. I was thinking about this yesterday and the day before. She has very many layers to her. Lots of lovely ones that are very worth digging down to. She's also usually wearing many, many layers of clothes. And often when I'm around her, I'm crying. In a good way, in a good way. Unlike an onion, Jo is an excellent friend and can comfort me when I cry. So, that's nice. They're the only differences I could come up with, so... Can we just take her in for a moment? Isn't she breathtaking today? Today, Joe and Stuart joined us to the music of Swan. And how fitting a piece for someone so beautiful, so elegant, so full of class and grace, and someone whose nature is truly gentle, unassuming, and she's really someone to be admired. So I think that was a very well-chosen piece. Steve, I know you know the woman that you're about to marry, but just as a reminder of the friend you're getting, in case you've been distracted by all she's got going on, I don't blame you. In Joe, you have a friend who, sorry, I'm not looking at anybody, who, when you need to talk, will be there for you for as long as you need and longer still, who will care for you deeply and make sure that you know it. And as you know from your time apart, will be so committed to you that she will move heaven and earth to be there for you. She will be outraged at injustice done to you. She will be saddened by things that hurt you, and she'll be truly elated by things that bring you joy. She will carry your burdens with you and will accept you when you struggle to accept yourself. She'll never try to fix or sugarcoat your pain, but she will come alongside you, set up camp, and you'll know that you're not alone. When asked, and only when asked, because she's usually quite quiet, she will share these pearls of wisdom with incredible insight, which you know, which you can treasure up, and she'll speak such truth into your situation like nobody else. That's a great friend to have. And she has embodied, sorry, switch sheets. She has embodied God's loving kindness to me more than anyone else, and has been the reminder I needed this year of how close he is to us in both the peaks and the valleys of life. She's also really weird, which I'm sure a lot of you also know. She has this CCTV vision, which is just always on, which is terrifying, but she sees everything, every reaction, every slip of the tongue. If you move your eyes an inch, she's already seen it, she's laughing at it. And because she's so cheeky, when you say something, she's already thought of every possible interpretation, innuendo or otherwise. And her eyebrows are moving, and you're like, I don't know what I said. But she knows what you said. So she's very entertaining, especially in public, actually. I don't know if any of you have seen her cross the road. It's really funny to watch, especially if it's a busy road, and you can compare her to the other pedestrians who kind of shuffle along with their heads down. And Joe's like prancing like she's dodging imaginary obstacles, and she's out by herself, and she's going in a different direction. And it's like her face is like she's petrified, and it's just like Greystone's Main Street. But it's the most overly dramatic thing, but she's just so entertaining. It's just the way she walks. So she's fun, and she's loving, and she's so wise. And on behalf of all her friends, we think she's a real gem, and we trust that you'll care for her very well. Steve, I also remember getting to know you, probably the same time as Joe, actually. And you really, something that stood out to me was the way that you always stand up for the person. You're the quickest person to step in and stand up for someone when other people are talking about them. And when people talk about the worst parts of someone, you're the quickest to celebrate the best parts of them. And that's something that really stood out to me and taught me a lot in those years. And I think that with Joe's, your wife's, incredible acceptance and understanding of people, and with your beautiful attitude towards them, that you're going to be this beautiful unit in the years to come. And I just foresee so many people coming into contact with you and experiencing love and healing and hope and the God that you love as well. And I'm really excited for what that's going to look like for you guys. So I don't know much about marriage, as you heard from this morning's sentiments. Thank you, lovely husband. But from what I've heard and observed, it's in the daily choices, the sacrifices, and the keeping of a promise that a lifelong work and a masterpiece is made. I can only imagine how incredible your story will be, and what a privilege it is for all of us to be here for the beginning of it. So may your home, your new life, and your marriage be so full of joy and love and laughter and blessings abundant. To Steve and Joe.
Thank you, Claire. That was really wonderful. I have no idea how to follow that. Okay. Bear with me. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, or by now you might have guessed, my name is Mark Griffin and I am Steve's best man. And I've had the wonderful and absolute honour to stand beside you as you married Joe today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Today has been absolutely wonderful. I think it's so evident and so clear, probably to everyone here as well, that the amount of thought and time that these two have put into today. And together with their family and their parents, Sharon, Karen particularly, you've put in so much effort. As a guest here today, it's been a real treat. And so generous of all of you to put in that time and effort for all of us to celebrate with you. So I think you all deserve a round of applause for that. So thank you very much for that. So I became friends with Steve when we were teenagers. So we were, in about 2007, we became worship leaders in our church, the church that we were attending at the time, City Gates. So we were 17 years old. And after a number of weeks of fumbling through services without any understanding or direction for what we were doing, we decided the best thing to do was to start meeting up on a Wednesday evening, where we had a massive folder of music, and we started just working through each folder one by one, or one song one by one, trying to arrange them. But unfortunately, these practices were about as productive as decaf coffee. So we, actually, I think it was John Yoder kind of pushed us in the direction, but we approached a man in our church, Durand Robinson, who became our mentor and taught us. So we moved the Wednesday night sessions in my house to Durand's house in Greystones, and every Wednesday night for about 3 years, myself and Steve would go down to Durand's and we'd play music, and we'd read the Bible together and we'd pray together. And the foundation, and he just taught us how to lead worship and to play music and to play in bands and how to arrange music and everything. It was fantastic. And the foundation of our friendship was really laid there in Durand's house. And if the foundation of our relationship was laid there, the rest was built in a car. So in the years to come after that, and during our college years, myself and Steve went to various camps around the country, down to Avoca Manor regularly. And then when we finished college, we started a music ministry together called Without Walls. And for the next 5 years, then we were traveling around the country, leading worship at various events. And this just meant that we had hours and hours and hours and hours and hours in a car together, just chatting about everything, chatting about nothing, and conversations that were us buzzing on the way back from a gig and seeing something amazing that God had done, or aimlessly wandering around the Wicklow Hills to try and heal our broken hearts, or whatever we were doing in our early 20s. But it was in that car that Steve became my best friend. It was just through all those conversations and all that time. And it was really, really wonderful. And through all those hours, and hundreds of hours of driving around the country, I learned 2 very, very valuable life lessons. One was never ignore your check engine light. So, yeah, broke down too many times. 2 was don't buy a car secondhand from a missionary. Because those things run on prayer. And when they leave, God reallocates that resource. So, and this happened to both of us. But sitting beside you in that car for all those years, it was an absolute honor to stand by your side today as you married the wonderful Joe, who looks beautiful today. So, when Steve often talks about Joe, I'm going to put this down. When Steve talks about Joe, I'll often hear him say the phrase, "Man, she's a flippin' Disney princess." I had to think hard on it either, because it's very evident. Like, she's very intelligent, fiercely determined, as a few people have said. She has hair and a dress sense that is always on point. And not to mention a singing voice that you heard today that has the ability to summon one-clad creatures. Like, not joking, yesterday myself and Steve turned up at the NAS and there was a bird flying around the ceiling of the room. I guarantee it was because Joe was singing in there. Steve and Joe have worked really, really hard on their relationship. Hard work out of necessity due to geographical distance. And when Steve moved to New Zealand, the two of them had to become really intentional with their time together, very selfless and very thoughtful. And it's that hard work and has created a strength and teamwork between the two of them that leaves me with nothing but admiration for the two of them. And it's a foundation that I think you're building a very, very bright future together. And I'm very excited about that for you. So I think I'd like to invite you all to stand and raise a glass to Steve and Joe and their future together.